Values of Teaching Social Studies, an NCERT publication, Guidelines for Upper Primary Stage 1988, points out these outcomes. The child at this stage could be initiated into the study of India's past in all its major aspects such as social, cultural, and scientific development. He should also be helped to appreciate diversity in ways of living and interdependence of various regions of India and the world. He should also know the civic and political institutions and understand contemporary social and economic issues and problems. Social skills and civic competencies and a national perspective would thus equip him to participate in the task of social and economic reconstruction. The Social Studies Committee Schools Board, Victoria, USA, has pointed out that through social studies, we are trying to train children in the habit of thinking clearly, to be able to use all of the knowledge at their command to solve problems, and to be able to find the necessary information. In the words of J.F. Forrester, the chief aim of social studies is to help pupils to understand the world in which they have to live and how it came to be, so that they became responsible citizens. It aims at promoting critical thinking and a readiness for a social change, at creating a disposition for action on behalf of the general welfare, at an appreciation of other cultures and realization of the interdependence of men and nation and notion. M.P. Mufat is one of the opinion that a person may be learned in chemistry or mathematics. He may be a skilled technician, but if he is short-sighted in his attitude to his fellow men, he is unsocial and perhaps ill-adjusted in many other ways. The art of living is a fine art to which social studies contributes understanding. The Secondary Education Commission 1952-53 states that the object of social studies is to adjust the students to their social environment, which includes the family, community, state and nation, so that they may be able to understand how society has come to its present form. They may be able to interrupt intelligently the matrix of social forces and movements in the midst of which they are living. The Commission further adds that this subject should help the students to discover and explain how this adjustment has taken place in the past and how it is taking place today. Through this subject, the students should be able to acquire not only the knowledge but attitudes and values which are essential for successful group living and civic efficiency. It should endeavor to give the students not only sense of national patriotism and an appreciation of national heritage, but also a keen and lively sense of world unity and world citizenship. The role of social studies has been clearly outlined in the curriculum for the 10-year school, a framework published by NCERT in 1976. It states as follows: the instruction in social sciences should promote the values and ideals of humanism, secularism, socialism and democracy. It should inculcate attitudes and impart the knowledge necessary for the achievement of the principal values of a world, other maximization of ecological stability. Cyril Burke, in the foreword to James Hemming's book entitled Teaching of Social studies in secondary schools has stressed the importance of social sciences as a core subject in these words. The social and economic and political problems of the modern world are so integrated that few young people can be trusted to pick up the necessary information or no, to teach themselves to think clearly, logically on the numerous problems that confront them. A well-designed and well-conducted course of social sciences can fulfill the main educational requirements of a field of study. It will satisfy the need of the child to understand his environment and his relations with it, and it will go far to satisfy the need for society for well-adjusted citizens prepared to participate in solving the pressing problems of our times. Social studies and social sciences as integral part of 10-year school curriculum. The curriculum of a country, like its constitution, reflects the ethos of that country. As the Education Commission points out, there is a need to transform education so as to relate it to the life, needs, and aspirations of the people and make it an instrument of social change. For this purpose, the curriculum in social sciences and social studies is intended for the awakening of social consciousness, the development of democratic values, and a feeling for social justice and national integration. Social studies is a practical subject with a practical bias, lays emphasis not only on practical knowledge but also on right doing. Social studies has been made an integral part of school curriculum as it aims at giving education for life. Social studies, through its function approach, gives practical training to the pupils to live well by providing an all-embracing comprehensive area. It enables the pupils to clear their relationships with their material, physical and social surroundings so that are able to adjust themselves to the life of today. No wonder, therefore, social studies forms an integral part of school curriculum which has its concern as national integration, social justice, productivity, modernization of the society, and cultivation of moral and spiritual values. Inclusion of social studies from psychological point of view. It is a well-known principle of teaching that children are interested in concrete things, and social studies deals with the concrete things. There is nothing more concrete than life itself, which is the central theme of social studies. Social studies is the subject which deals with the substance of life, for life and through life. Besides, social studies provides knowledge is a correlated and integrated form, a form needed by the child. Inclusion of social studies from sociological point of view. With the changing pattern of life, the home fails to provide adequate opportunities the young child for citizenship training. The disintegration of the joint family system and working of both the parents in offices, factories have deprived the child of developing interpersonal relationships. The failure of the home to provide the necessary social education to the child has placed an important obligation on the part of the school. Social studies provides opportunities for socialization and for democratic living. Inclusion of social studies from pragmatic point of view. Social, secular, economic and political problems of the modern life have become so intricate that left to themselves, only a few young men and women can adjust themselves amicably. It is therefore extremely important that appropriate experiences must be provided to the student in the school to understand his nature, the nature of his physical and social environment, so that he is helped to develop the attitudes and skills of social mindedness, cooperation and tolerance. A course in social studies offers such opportunities. Social studies finds an important place in the school curriculum as it helps the child to acquaint with his past and present cultural, economical and social environment. It helps the child to appropriate his natural rich cultural heritage. It helps the child to get rid of what is undesirable and antiquated, especially in the context of social change. It helps the child to acquire right attitudes, knowledge, understanding and competence needed for adjustment with the environment. It helps the child to gain insight into spiritual, economic and political values. It helps the child to use his leisure properly. It helps the child to solve social and individual problems. It helps the child to develop democratic citizenship. It helps the child to increase social competence. It helps the child to foster national outlook. It helps the child to foster international understanding. Social studies and social sciences. David L. Sills, in an article in the International Encyclopedia of Higher Education 1977, has observed, although knowledge is often broadly divided into social and behavioral sciences, the humanities and the natural sciences, there is no full definition of the social sciences that is generally accepted, nor is there any consensus concerning which individual disciplines are properly included under the heading. Accordingly, each generation of social scientists uses a different implicit definition of the field, sometimes resulting in controversies among the colleagues and between countries. In general, however, the social and behavioral sciences include those disciplines that study social behavior and social institutions. International Encyclopedia of the Social Sciences, edited by David Sills, includes the following disciplines under social sciences: anthropology, behavioral sciences, economics, geography, history, law, political science, psychiatric, psychology, sociology, statistics. The new Encyclopedia Britannica gives the scope of social sciences as the social sciences, which deal with human behavior in its social and cultural aspects, include the following disciplines: economics, political science, sociology, social and cultural anthropology, social psychology, social and economic geography, and those areas of education that deal with the social context of learning and the relation of the school to the social order. History is regarded by many of its practitioners as a social science, and certain areas of historical study today are almost indistinguishable from work done in the social sciences. Threefold classification of social sciences. Professor M. Halaya has given the following classification: purely social sciences, semi-social sciences, sciences with social implications. Purely social sciences. This may be said to constitute the purely social sciences: politics, economics, history, jurisprudence, anthropology, phenology, and sociology. Semi-social sciences. Among the semi-social sciences may be mentioned ethics, education, philosophy and psychology. Sciences with social implications. These are biology, geography, medicine, linguistics and art. Difference between social sciences and social studies. Social sciences are the advanced studies of human society which are taught at the high school stage, higher secondary stage and at college stage. Social studies are simplified portions of social sciences selected for instructional purposes at the primary and middle stages. Social sciences represent an adult approach while the social studies represent a child-centered approach. Social sciences are the theory part of human affairs and social studies as the practical part of human affairs. Social sciences lay more emphasis on knowledge and social studies on the functional part of knowledge. Social sciences are concerned with the investigation of a diversity of human relations and pile up considerably more data than it is possible or desirable to include in social studies. Social sciences aims at finding out how new truth about human relationships and social studies aim at guiding adolescents in the learning of selected portions of what has been discovered in social sciences. Social sciences and social studies have many similarities. They are not only related generally but also share a common body of content. The social sciences are the parent disciplines. The center of focus in social sciences and social studies is man's relationship to man and his environment and how he meets his needs. Human relationships are the common denominators. As a matter of fact, there is no hard and fast line separating social sciences and social studies. The subject matter is generally known as social studies in the primary and middle classes, where gradual unfolding of the total environment, physical, social and cultural, is needed. As the student gains more insight and becomes mature to interpret raw data at the secondary and higher secondary stages, he emerges from the social studies and enters into social sciences. In a nutshell, social studies is the adoption of the scholarly findings of the social sciences. It includes those portions of social sciences which are pertinent to the immediate purpose of learning and can be adopted to the level of comprehension of the students. According to the curriculum for 10-year school, history, civics, geography and economics are to be taught in social sciences at middle and secondary stage of education. In the view of the limited time that will be available for each of branches, it would be desirable to integrate their teaching in a way that pupils develop a proper understanding of the facts and problems in their right perspective without causing any damage to the totality of individual discipline. History provides the youth an insight, appreciation and understanding of how our present life has come to being. Emphasis in history is to be shifted from dynastic history and political details to social and economic conditions and the growth of various aspects of culture. Civics make an attempt at imparting training in civic life, development of civic competencies and civic abilities so that students eventually participate constructively in the life of the community in the democratic way. The NCERT in its documents on curriculum 1986 and 1988 has used the term social sciences. Economics makes the child familiar with the current multifarious activities and issues that affect the everyday life of the common man and of the society to which he belongs. The course is intended to throw some light on the potential resources and The performances show so far as the future economic prospects of the country. In the earlier stages, it would be helpful if some rudimentary understanding of the economic forces that influence the citizens' daily life is given to the students. Some elementary knowledge of consumer economics, such as earning and spending, controls, price rise, and the effect of increasing population, should be given in very simplified form. Geographically is intended to bring home to the pupils the interdependence of the various regions of the country and world. Geography should enable them to appreciate that it is only through sharing with others that the pupils of the world can really enjoy the blessings of the Mother Earth. The most important point to be kept in view in the teaching of social sciences is to encompass the vast frontiers of the subject matter in such a way as to deepen the understanding of the child on the social, physical, and cultural world around him, develop an insight into human relationships, values, and attitudes, and appropriate skills. Chief features of social sciences. Social sciences are those parts of cultural knowledge which have a direct bearing on man's activities in specific field. Social sciences are the advanced studies of human society which are meant for matured students. Social sciences aim at finding out new truths about human relationships so as to contribute to social utility. Regarding the study of social studies and social sciences, the Education Commission observed at the higher secondary stage there will be specialized studies in the social sciences. There is now an increasing trend to introduce in the curriculum of the secondary education, at least in the senior-most classes, some elements of the social sciences, and these methods. The new curriculum proposed in the higher secondary classes provides for the special study of history, geography, civics, economics, and sociology. But something of the scientific spirit and the methods of social sciences should permit the teaching of social studies and history, geography, and civics even in the lower classes. Environmental studies. Environmental studies is considered as an approach based upon the child's investigation of his locality, which leads to the progressive development of skills, concepts, and attitudes required for the study of other environments in the time and space. The communication media required for such studies also necessitate an ever increasing use of language and mathematics. It is not thought of as a subject with a body of functional information, but rather as way of learning through inquiry. Environment studies involves a child in activities which are based upon his observation and investigation of his surroundings. The approach has twofold aim of arousing and developing the child's desire to know more about his world and aiding him in the development of skills he needs to interpret it. Environmental studies approach is based upon the general view of leading and especially on the two stages which establish the development of children from a level of concrete operation to one defined as a level of formal operations. In more traditional terms, it implies moving from concrete to abstract, from known to known, and from particular general. The basic concept is to train children to observe more closely and more accurately, without at first making any attempt to differentiate historical, geographical, and scientific investigation. Repeated opportunities for children to examine material which by nature and variety is suitable for their age, will stress the development of a general, specific, and scientific attitude. The pattern of observation, experimentation, recording, and interpretation should become the unorganized way for the children. The curriculum for the 10-year school has investigated environmental studies to include both natural and social environments in every classes. It has used the term social studies to that part of environmental studies that deals with the social environment at the primary stage and general science to the part dealing with natural environment. It may be pointed out that science, the environment and the experiences outside the school vary from place to place. The activities provided in the school should also vary so that the edifice of knowledge is built not on abstract concepts alone, but also on the solid foundation of experience drawn from the environment of the child. Main themes of social studies. The social studies contains the following ideas. Geography. To exist, man must utilize natural resources. History. The life of man has been and is influenced by change. Economics. Productive resources are scarce and human wants are limited. Political science. Man seeks to establish and maintain a public authority through which to govern and be governed. Psychology. Man's behavior is purposive and goal-oriented. Sociology. Man is a social being. Anthropology. Man is a man, yet everywhere he is unique. Social psychology. Man as a social being is both an individual and a member of group. Summary. In a nutshell, each letter of social studies stands for S. Social relationship, social efficiency. O. Objective attitude. C. Citizenship training. Constructive and critical thinking. Integrated knowledge. Intelligent understanding. A. Adaptability, appreciation of others' viewpoint. L. Learning. S. Sensitiveness to social issues. T. Tolerance. U. Unbiased attitude. D. Devotion to ideas. I. Interrelationships. E. Emotional balance. S. Self-discipline. Social attitude.